Excellent news, everybody. We have got another Octopath Traveler game coming on the horizon, and that game is Octopath Traveler 0. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a fan of the Octopath Traveler franchise. The first one is a very good game, I would say. I'd say it's very good. Octopath Traveler 2, however, genuinely, it would have been my game of the year that year if a little game called Baldur's Gate 3 didn't come out at the same time. So, yeah. Octopath Traveler 2 is genuinely one of those RPGs that I think everybody should play. If you're into RPGs, you really need to do yourself a favour and play Octopath Traveler 2. So, you know.
Do it! Just do it!
But yeah, Octopath Traveler 0. It is coming in December 2025 to all platforms. So, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little chat about Octopath Traveler 0, if that's okay. Yeah? Fancy a bit of that? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for future content, but let's jump into it. So, what we know so far about Octopath Traveler 0. Octopath Traveler 0 is set in the world of Austera. Now, if you've played the Octopath Traveler games before, you know that Austera is the area that Octopath Traveler 1 takes place in. Now, I say area, but I mean world. We'll get into that a little bit later on towards the end. But yeah, it happens in the same world and the same continuity as the first Octopath Traveler game. Now, as far as the gameplay goes, there are a few new things and a lot of the good old Octopath Traveler stuff that we've all come to know and love, but one of the new things is the fact that you are able to create your own character. So rather than selecting one of 8 characters and beginning your story as them, you will create a character to go into the world, and that character will have connections with the world, which we'll go into in a second. But that's one of the new things. The other new thing is the fact that you are going to do some town building. So there is town building mechanics. You can build the town up, you can invite people to live in the town. Kind of gives me Suikoden vibes a little bit, you know, building it up, but we'll see how deep it goes. So that's another addition. And then one more addition is the fact that you are able to have a party that comprises of up to 8 characters. So rather than in Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 where you could have 4 characters, in Octopath Traveler 0 you can have 8 characters in your combat team. They are split between front row and back row. You can select which row that you are controlling actively in combat, it would seem, and it seems like you're able to switch characters between the front row and the back row, and you can also seemingly recruit up to 30 characters. So I'm not sure whether or not that will be 30 characters that you can use in this 8 character battle system, or whether it will be some that you can use in combat and others that you can use in the town building mechanic, you know, as like shopkeepers or things like that. So it's just going to add a lot more depth to the combat system and a lot more tactical thinking that's going to be required. And it's already quite a tactical game. The boost and break system makes a return, so you're looking at boosting your own attacks and breaking your enemy by hitting them with their weaknesses. All of that seems like it's going to work exactly the same. You're just going to have a larger party of combatants to choose from, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It is seemingly a thing that comes from the Octopath Traveler mobile game, and it's not the only thing that comes from the Octopath Traveler mobile game. So the Octopath Traveler mobile game, Champions of the Continent, is, you know, it's your typical mobile game, but it does have some story content that relates to Octopath Traveler, and importantly, the section of Octopath Traveler 0 known as Side Austera is the inspiration for the story of Octopath Traveler 0. So if you've played Champions of the Continent, there's a solid chance that you're going to know some of the beats that happen in the story, but this is a new story that is inspired by story elements and ideas from that game. So I think it will be similar in some ways, but it will be fleshed out a lot more. This has been like rebuilt from the ground up as a full-fledged RPG, so I would expect it to be similar in length to Octopath Traveler 1 and Octopath Traveler 2, rather than being like little bite-sized chunks of story like you usually get in a mobile game. So I'm very much looking forward to playing Octopath Traveler 0. I am probably going to check out Champions of the Continent just to see how much of a difference there is from the Side Austera story in that and the story of Octopath Traveler 0. It'll just be interesting to see, so probably going to do that. That's something that you can do yourself. I do highly recommend that you play Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, because it'll give you a good base grasp of the mechanics, ready to go into Octopath Traveler 0 with the bigger parties. Another thing I'm mega looking forward to is the town building. It looks real fun. It looks real fun. You can place buildings and everything like that. And this comes about because of what happens in the narrative of Octopath Traveler 0. The basic gist of it seems to be that something happens to a town called Wishvale. We see it get burnt down, basically, and our job is to fix the town. So we're going to rebuild it. We're going to get the people that live there to come home. We're going to bring new people in, I would guess, as well. And I would guess that there's going to be some kind of functionality to it. I don't know what that's going to be, but I get a feeling that there is going to be some sort of functionality where maybe we can get gear, maybe we can get stat boosts, maybe all of the above. Who knows? But it's definitely something that I'm very excited to check out. Very excited. Now, as for the narrative, things could go slightly differently to how it does in Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. Obviously, with Octopath 1 and 2, you know, we see 8 characters' stories play out and we hop around between those stories. That's pretty much the way it goes. Whereas in this one, with the fact that we're creating our own main character, my guess would be that it's going to be focused predominantly on the main character, the one that we create, and we're then going to see everything else that happens to the other characters in the story. So we're going to be kind of tagging along and seeing what goes on with these other characters. I'd guess we will have some impact on the story as well, of course, but I don't think it's going to be the same as in Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 where we're hopping about between different characters. I think it's going to be more these characters are locked in with us. Some of these characters do seem to have a connection with our created character already. There is a character called Steer, Dave. They are a childhood friend of our created character who help us to restore the town. So we've got a character there that's directly connected to us, and I would guess that they are going to be our segue into the rest of the group. We do see a couple of other characters. We see Fen, who's a watchman who is seemingly going to help us get things going with Wishvale and obviously fight against whatever this antagonist is, whoever this antagonist is. I'm definitely going to check out Champions of the Continent. I'm definitely going to do that just to get a rough idea what the story could be. So we'll probably do a video on that soon. I'll break it down so everyone, if you want to, can go in with a bit of an idea what's going on. Might be a bit spoilery though, so we'll see. But yeah, other than Fen, we meet Lorana, who's obviously a priest of the Sacred Flame, or something to that effect. Got a lot to live up to though, because Temenos was pretty brilliant in Octopath Traveler 2, so we'll see how Lorana does. But yeah, I do think that's going to be the way it goes, with us having the focus on one character and then experiencing everything else that happens in the world. But that's pretty much everything that we know so far about Octopath Traveler 0. The only other thing that I'd speculate on is how it's going to connect to the other games in the franchise, because Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 aren't connected, but they definitely are connected. Like, if you've played the 2 games, you know that there is a character that pops up in both of those games. There is a book that pops up in both of those games. There is a super boss that pops up in both of those games. And that character is in Champions of the Continent. They do pop up in Champions of the Continent. So, like I say, there is a connection. I think we'll have to do a separate video on the potential connections between Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, because, I mean, it has been stated that Octopath Traveler 2 happens in a separate world. You know, it's not the same world as Octopath Traveler, but the connections that go on between the 2 games go beyond, you know, like Final Fantasy games are connected by Moogles and Chocobos and Tomberries, you know, these common elements that come up. Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 have that, but then they also have something else that connects them as well. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I would assume it will connect up because, you know, it happens in the same world as Octopath Traveler 1, and the character that I was talking about loosely earlier does appear, so I would guess there's going to be some connection. But I think I'm going to do a separate video in the very near future, kind of diving into the Octopath lore, because, you know, we're getting a 3rd game now. That strongly suggests there'll be a 4th at some point, you know. I think we are starting to see the formation of like another Final Fantasy franchise, essentially. It's going to be the Final Fantasy of the HD 2D games. So, yeah, things are looking good for us HD 2D fans. That's everything that we know so far. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Have you played Octopath Traveler 1 and 2? And if not, why not? Why not? Justify your decision in the comments below, because it's real good, especially Octopath Traveler 2. Like, Octopath Traveler 1 is great, but Octopath Traveler 2 takes all of the lessons that needed to be learned from the first Octopath Traveler learns them, and just deploys it in just a beautiful way. Also, very excited to listen to more of that juicy Octopath Traveler music. So, yeah, good times. Anyway, yeah, like I was saying, let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Are you excited for Zero? Have you played 1 and 2? All of the things. Let me know your thoughts. Please like the video and subscribe for future content. But more importantly than all of that, have a great day.